Good morning. You are welcome here. My name is Marisha, and I am your facilitator today. And we begin with Deirdre opening with some music.
Good morning, everybody. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Let's sing that together. My soul is welcome here. Come on, sing it for me. Any time of day, you're welcome to pray. You're welcome to dance, to learn a thing or two. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Let's take a nice big breath, shall we? Doesn't that feel good? All right, one great power. There is just one presence. We're waiting for the band. There is just one presence, just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There is just one power we all can share, with one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. There is one great power everywhere. There is one great power everywhere. One great power, one great spark, burning in our souls like a candle in the dark. There is just one chorus we all can sing, with one great power let it ring. One great power, one great love, speaking in the night. There is just one power we all can share, but one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. There is one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the skies up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer. One great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. One great power everywhere. One more time. One great power everywhere. This Beauty by Karen Drucker. I am the one within you. I am the one infinite presence. Oh Lord, help us. I am the one in all. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you. I am the one you see. Within your heart there's a doorway. The arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight. I am the infinite presence. I am the one in all. Yes, you are. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you. I am the one within you. I am the one you seek. I am the one you seek. Within your heart there's a doorway. Within your heart there's a doorway. The arms of love await you with these golden wings. Take flight.
Join with me in consciousness, for this is what I know. There is only one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence. And as I take my whirling thoughts from my head and move my center to my heart, move my focus to where Spirit resides within me, I recognize the oneness. I feel the oneness. I know that I'm fully supported in every way. Open to these new ideas that I'm about to hear today. Open to some of the old ideas I'm about to hear today. Open to all of it because it's all Spirit. I let go with a grateful heart, knowing that it is already done. Please join with me in saying, and so it is.
I am the infinite presence. I am the one in all. I am the truth in beauty, the answer to Spirit's call. I am the one within you. I am the one
We're so blessed.
Thank you.
She teaches us the unity wisdom with her music ministry. Today's daily word reading is, I am a timeless, ageless expression of spirit. May Rowland, former director of Silent Unity Prayer Ministry, once said, let us forget the idea of growing old and commence to really live, but let new, creative, life-giving ideas express themselves in and through us. My vision for my life is ageless, as are my dreams. I spend quiet time in prayer, opening my mind to fresh ideas. I give thanks for each new way to express creatively. I have the confidence to try new activities and boldly plan my future. As I reflect on my dreams, I know I have the infinite power of spirit within to guide me. I step out in faith with a youthful exuberance and unflagging energy. And from John chapter 11, verse 26, and anyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Now, if we have a volunteer, please, to give an example of how unity has impacted your life. Yes, thank you. Sheila, I believe.
Sure. My name is Sheila Maillet, and Unity has certainly impacted my life in a tremendous way. I'm a licensed Unity teacher, and the Unity principles are what allows me to get up in the morning and to live and love and enjoy life. So, specific examples, this morning I was out at Battlefield Park, just scoping the place for the picnic coming up on the 23rd, and just witnessing the presence of this glorious day, sunshine, beauty, and being able to take that in at deeper levels. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila Maillet. Our annual theme is One Humanity, Many Stories. And our theme for September is Ensure the Stewardship of Our Planet. Now it is September, and many of us think of September as the harvest month. You know, the farmers' markets are bursting with this year's harvest. And today, we at Unity Spiritual Center are gifted to hear a wisdom harvest and a special opportunity to deep our spiritual journey. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Margot McKinnon, who is going to share some of the wisdom she has harvested from her studies and research. She recently published a book called The Body, Mind, Spirit, and Soul, Oneness Dominance Theory. It's a guide to elevating your 5 dimensions of self. Dr. Margot McKinnon received her PhD from the University of Oxford, where her thesis was conceptualizing spirituality for secular public education. And she previously had received her master's degree from the University of Calgary, and there her thesis was implementing teacher professional growth plans into organizational culture. Good foundation there. And she began her professional education acquiring her Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Education at Queen's University, where she specialized in English, special education, ESL, and social studies. A very grounded, well-rounded education. Dr. Margot's message is that you are enough, but you can be more. There is a grander you awaiting to be discovered and to become. And she has a method for you to be more by morning. So, without further ado, let me have the honor of introducing Dr. Margot McKinnon.
Well, it's nice to see everybody, and is this working? Does it really, is it now? Okay, good. It's nice to see everybody. Thank you for being here today. So what I'm talking about today is this book. Is it working?
Nope. Check if it's on. It's not.
Try now. Is it working now? I could put my big teacher voice on for everybody. I have one. My mom used to say, you don't need to use your teacher voice in the house, you know. How's that doing? Is that okay? All right, great. I like to wander around a little bit. So I'm going to be talking about this, and you gave me such a great introduction. I hardly need to introduce myself, but yes, I came up with this model many, many years ago, and this is my second book, actually. And I want to just, as a little background, how did I end up here at Unity Church? I do a cross-Canada trip. I'm from Calgary. And I drove here, and I arrived like a day ago, and by myself, along the Trans-Canada. And last year, I came in August, and I saw the Center of Spiritual Living in Winnipeg. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go to their service. And then I saw Reverend Ann there, and I said, hey, on my way back, can I give a talk at your center? And she looked at me and she said, let's say yes. And I thought, now you're my type of person, right? It's, let's say yes. So on the way back, I gave a presentation, and then I sent out my newsletter, and Reverend Ann said, I'm in Hamilton now. Do you think you can come? So, I feel like we're old friends now, Reverend Ann. So it's really great to be here, and it's so nice that she invited me back. And so, yes, I am giving I was actually in Hamilton yesterday doing a lunch and learn for the spiritualist community. And so what I want to talk about is this model. And I came up with it many years ago. It was kind of by accident that I came up with it. Can you say that? I was doing my master's on teacher professional learning, and I decided to take one course just for myself, and it was called Philosophy of Mind. And that's what I've been thinking about like my whole life. That's my real passion. And so I took the course, and our first homework assignment was to go home and think about how the body, mind, spirit are related. Now, anybody who knows me for 5 minutes knows that I think about spirit all the time. And so my first experience with spirit was when I was 4 years old, and I was putting my little doll Michael to bed with his little blanket. And I heard this very loud, powerful voice say out of the darkness, you are to be a teacher. And I'm 4. I wasn't even in school. And I said, okay. And I became that. And I made that commitment at 4. And I've taken it very seriously. I've really highly educated myself and really opened myself up to the kids so I could really teach them, and I became a high school teacher. I'm not teaching anymore because I came up with this model, and I used it in the classroom with my students, especially the really struggling students, and they told me, this saved my life. You changed my life. Stop teaching. Get out there and go across Canada. Get into the States. Come on, more people need to hear about this because it saved my life. And that's what I want to introduce to you. So I am a person who, I hear these voices. I see things. I can look ahead And I had very supportive parents who helped me manage that part of my life. In our sort of what I'd say mind-dominant community, life we have to live in here, it's considered woo-woo to be all spiritual. This is why I have my PhD from Oxford. I thought, I really want to get that woo-woo label. And I remember being in high school in my English lit class and the teacher saying, we're going to study this book, but back in the day they believed in God. They believed in spirit and in visions, and it's because they were uneducated. And I put my hand up, and I was a person who hardly ever spoke in class. I went to school, but then I learned everything on my own at home, and then I'd come back. And so I didn't really learn from my teachers. But I put my hand up, and I said, what do you mean that's for uneducated people? Spirit's everywhere. Can't you see it? And my friends knew that how I was, because you can't know me for 5 minutes that you don't know this about me. And she kind of looked at me like, are you for real? Are you telling me? And I said, highly educated people. And it was that day I sat back in my chair and I said, you know what? Someday I'm going to a very prestigious university and I'm going to get my PhD. And I'm going to show that highly educated, highly intelligent people see spirit. Feel spirit, feel that oneness all the time. And that's why I have my PhD. Thank you. And I'm building towards trying to get spirituality in many forms into our education system, because according to my... Thank you. Be my champion, please. Help me. Yes, yes. Because our kids in there, it's just too mind-dominant of an institution, and kids are feeling separated from what real learning is. Yes, so I speak all over Alberta. The teachers love this model. It's transforming the way they see children in the classroom. So let me explain what it is. I was sitting in this philosophy of mind class. Our homework assignment was how are the body, mind, spirit related. I went home and I went into a vision. Isn't that how you get your answers? Yeah, that's how you do it. You go into a meditation. You connect with oneness. And you say, oneness, universe, creator, whatever name you use for that. What's the answer? What do you want people to know today, at this point in time in our history, about how the body, mind, spirit are related? That powerful voice that spoke to me when I was a child was so excited that I asked. And it bubbled down all these answers. And I said, really, how can I bring that into education? What does that mean for learning disabled kids? What does that mean about mental health issues that we're having? And this voice answered and answered and answered every question that I asked. I went back to my philosophy of mind class the next week, and everybody else had read books. And they got up and they said, I read this person and this person and this person. I started to kind of sink down in my chair a little bit, going, oh, that didn't occur to me to read a book. And it was a master's PhD class. Okay. I said, well, I didn't read a book. I went into a vision. I meditated about the answer, and I came up with this answer. And it took me like 2 big blackboards to write it all out. And my prof said, Margot, that's the freshest theory I've heard on that topic in 50 years. Write a book. Can I invite somebody in from the Faculty of Medicine to listen to you? And then I was being invited to these conferences, and can you speak here, there, and everywhere? And I wrote that's why this is my second book, so that was my first book. And I thought, wow, I can't stand up there and say, hi, I'm Margot McKinnon, high school English teacher, and speak to surgeons and psychologists and psychiatrists and doctors. I needed to be Dr. Margot also, and from a recognizable institution that they would say, okay, you can't be that woo-woo if you got your PhD from there. Here's what that voice came down and said to me. We actually have more than 3 dimensions, body, mind, spirit. We have 5 dimensions, just like you have 5 fingers. You have a body, a mind, a spirit, a soul, and oneness. 5 dimensions to yourself. And some of you might be thinking, spirit and soul, I always thought they were the same thing. No, it said. They're 2 different parts of yourself. So your body is this, but the body dimension of life is also all these chairs. It's that beautiful dress you're wearing. And by the way, I came in here and I thought, wow, people really dress here. Like, you have stunning outfits. That was the first thing I noticed when I came in here this morning, how cool everybody looks. Anyway, so that's your body, how you wear your hair, whether you do physical fitness, what kind of food you're eating. That's your body dimension of life. Your mind dimension is your logical, rational side. It is doing math. It is figuring out your taxes, your grocery list, your mortgage, planning your summer vacation. Where are you going to stay? It's all the logical, rational. How do you organize this system of life that we're here in the physical? Your spirit, when your spirit goes out and goes back into oneness when you pass, it came from oneness, and it's inside your body right now looking out your eyes. It's the part of you. Now, I've had a near-death experience, and when I had my near-death experience, I went out to the most absolute, unconditional love you could ever imagine. It was really quite textbook. And when I came back here, I thought, harumph, wow, okay, here I am, back again, in a place that's not always unconditional love. But our spirit, part of ourselves, remembers that unconditional love. It longs for that unconditional love. It's seeking unconditional love. We can get lonely when that part of ourselves is not fulfilled. Okay. Our spirit is our passion. It's who we really are. That's your spirit part of yourself, this voice told me. I do lots of work on, have you created the life your spirit came here to live? Have you? What's left to do that your spirit wants to do? That's why I loved your daily word. Keep expanding your spirit dimension of self. Your soul is your purpose. Why are you here? It's your why. So whenever you start something, you say, well, why am I doing that? That's your soul looking at finding the meaning and purpose out of what you're doing. And oneness, as we know, is your connection to all that is. It's your connection to God, Creator, universe. It's our connection that we all showed up today. It's even your connection to the chair. You're going to take care of that chair and make sure that, you've left it nice and tidy. So it's that connection to all place, time, being. So that was the first part of this vision I got. Makes sense, doesn't it? 5 dimensions. Okay. Then it went on and it said, you're born dominant in one of those dimensions, and you grow the other ones over time. So a body dominant person. Love the hair, makeup, nails, fashion, having cool glasses, a really great car, beautiful. I'm not one, and I really I'm trying to elevate in that area of my life. I really am. Like, I have lipstick on. And we're getting there. I have it. And so people who really know how to set a beautiful table for guests, and they have the perfect glass and wine, and the meal is gorgeous, and those candles, and like they have those beautiful soaps, like in their bathroom. Not you? Like, when I lived in England and I sold my house in Calgary and I came back and I bought a condo instead, My body dominant sister took me to Home Sense because I clearly don't know how to set up everything you need in a house. Like, I think she was tired of that little cracked bar of soap at the sink that was on a like a side plate of my dishes from the kitchen sitting there. And she said, no, you get these beautiful like glass pumps, and then you wash your hands with that, with lemon verbena soap. I have that now. I have that with a really pretty hand towel, because that's what you do. That's what you do. And in the summer, when I have sandals on, I even paint my toenails bright red. That's how body I'm becoming. I'm really excited about it. There was a time when, you know, if I had to give a presentation, I was running into any old hairstylist I could find on the street with my hair in a ponytail going, come on, help me, do something with this thing right here. But my sister, she thinks it's really fun. She has nails that she goes and gets done. You know, those gel nails, and they're cleaned and done and everything. So I'm not that, but I appreciate her. I love that she knows how to do it. She teaches me all kinds of things. Okay, so that's body dominant. And you can tell there are people like that, and I love them. They really enjoy life. I used to think it was frivolous, and now I'm trying to do it. Mind dominant, very logical, rational people. And think of yourself on a spectrum, right? Like, how body do I want to be? How mind do I want to be? So some high-end mind dominant who aren't balanced on their other dimensions might be so mind they dismiss the spiritual side of life because that's woo-woo. And everything has to be science-based, logical, rational, science-based thinking. And so they can take on jobs like being an engineer or a doctor or an accountant. They're usually the manager or the boss because they know how to create systems for everybody to live in and give everybody their roles. And then they'll manage everybody to make sure that you're following within this system. And if you're not, you're fired. And as an educator, I'm saying the school system is too mind dominant, and there aren't a lot of courses for spirit dominant people, soul dominant people. I was in a high school, and I gave them just this pie chart. You probably can't see it in the back. I gave them this on a flip chart paper, and all I had was body, mind, spirit, soul, oneness. And I said, fill in what you think each dimension is and put the course in school around what courses fulfill that dimension of yourself. And by the time they got to spirit, they said, well, what do you mean by spirit? And I said, well, whatever you think it means. And work it out in your group. And then figure out which courses. And they said, but we can't find any courses that address the spirit side of self, or soul, or oneness. Well, they were proving my point. So I thought that was very interesting. And so if you think about, now I'm a spirit-dominant person. So what does that mean? Your spirit came in from absolute unconditional love. It's the real you. It's your passion. Spirit-dominant people tend to be very sensitive, porous. They pick up everybody else's emotions, empathetic. They cry easily. They cry and they're just going, why am I crying right now? And they're saying, sorry, I'm crying right now. Like, why? I don't quite know why we have to apologize for crying. I just love crying. It means that I really mean what I'm saying when I say I love you and I get choked up because I love you so much, it makes me cry. Spirit-dominant people feel more like a ghost than they do a human being. And their spirit looks out and sees this as a rather harsh and abrasive world compared to the unconditional love they remember. Even if they don't have a near-death experience, it's just part of ourselves that we remember that, and they remember it more. They can feel like a stranger here. They can feel like they don't belong. They can feel lonely because they're pining for that unconditional love, and they can't find the same level here. Sadly, some want to drink alcohol, take drugs to alleviate the pain of being human. Some of them, sadly, want to go home now. And they'll say that to themselves, want to go home now. And I used to think that as early as 5 and 6 years old. And I used to lie on my bed at like 6 years old and say to God, how long do I have to be here? And how long do I have to do this? Breathe. I thought, why do I have to lug around this body? It's so heavy. And look at the size of the one I got. It's huge. I have to lug around all day long. As early as 6 or 7, I would come up from the basement where we'd all be watching television as a family, come up to the kitchen in the dark of the kitchen, pull out the butcher knife, pull up my little shirt, point it around this way, and say, I'm done now, I'm ready to go home. Then that voice would come in and say, put that back. There's more for you. Hang in there. And I had students in my class with those same feelings, and I could tell exactly who they were. They'd come in like ghosts, invisible, under a hoodie usually, coming around, sitting where nobody else is sitting. The teacher doesn't pay any attention to them because they're just like ghosts. The body and the mind kids get all the attention, and the spirit-dominant kids are like just left to glide around. I made a little video. It's 4 minutes long, and I show it at teachers' conventions all over Alberta and into Manitoba, and it's about these kids that are spirit-dominant kids. I call them invisible kids. And I started doing focus groups around it, and I found I had a focus group of men. And the very sensitive, very kind, very gentle, very feelingful men struggle in our society because we have this kind of macho man image. And now those men are getting in trouble with the Me Too movement, but these sensitive men said they really identified with this. And I said, so what do you think the real thing going on here? And they said, well, it feels like body-mind people were given a roadmap at birth we weren't given. And it takes us a lot longer to figure out how to be human. And being human is an extraordinarily complicated thing. There are a lot of demands on us as human beings. And spirit-dominant people, they're like looking around with a logic. They're operating from a different logic. Unconditional love is where it's at. Mind-dominant work from their logic, and usually they're the boss. Get everybody in their systems. Doesn't that make sense? Totally big sense. Spirit-dominant, soul-dominant, those very purpose-driven, they're not served in school either because they don't need that course and that course and that course. They have a pathway in life, and that's what they want to fulfill. So they'll often self-educate and get this, and a lot of them quit school because they say they're useless. I'm going to go do my own thing. Sometimes they show up on Dragon's Den, right, with their big thing that they want to get funding for. And there's that mind-dominant dragon just telling them, like, just tell me the dollars and cents. What are your sales? And they're going, can't you see the value? If I help one person, I've served everybody. And they're going, no, we want you to sell millions. So soul-dominant. Soul dominants also have a harder life because they can look rather eccentric and so focused. And one of my sisters would say to me, why do you sit there writing about things nobody could care less about? Well, if I help one person, I've served a higher good. So yes, I look rather eccentric. Margot, why do you travel all across the country by yourself with all your books in the car and coming to Unity and Hamilton? Because this is so important. This concept is really important. And that voice that came in said, this is what people need to hear now at this time in our history. So let's move along now to oneness dominant. Feeling so connected. It's hard to have a beginning, middle, and an end. I used to teach kids how to write. And they go, well, I start, and then this leads to that, and that. Oh, man, everything is connected for them. Oneness. I'm not a high oneness person. It's something I had to develop in myself because I was too spirit dominant. I was one of those little ghosty kids that would sit over here. And then I realized if I want to get this message out, I need to learn how to connect to people better. So I developed my oneness. And I know I only get 20 minutes, so I'm going to just sort of start tidying up here this model. Because I'm going to have a workshop right after this. And what we're going to do is you're going to actually do your self-inventory. So you're going to look at all the body dimension, and you're going to look at all of them when you're really healthy and when you're stressed. So I have a little paper pen, a little test for you to take. And you're going to look at when you're stressed. And sometimes our stress behaviors are really blocking us from stepping into our grander self. You're going to find out what you're doing and what your grander self is that you want to step into so that you can be more by morning. And we're just going to do an hour today. Sometimes I take an afternoon, but I have to be in Aurelia tonight, so speaking. But I want to just close with a story about oneness because this is Unity Church, and I love the unity principles because it is all about that we are connected and we are all one. When I had my first vision, you notice today I started with body, mind, spirit. My original vision when that voice came in started with oneness. It said we have oneness. Then it moved to soul. Then it moved to spirit. Then it moved to mind and then body. And I wrote my first book like that, exactly how it told me. Now I have my second book. A lot of people don't understand oneness. It's too abstract of a concept for them. This book, my editor said, start with body because you can convince mind-dominant people. You have a body. Oh, yeah, I have one. You have a mind, a logical, yes, I have one. You can bring them into spirit, bring them into soul, bring them into, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But please remember, God, creator, universe, puts oneness first. Always. How would our world be different if we all started with oneness first, our connection with others first? How would your whole life be different? And I just want to share in closing a story that happened to me yesterday. I was telling Reverend Ann. I was here yesterday at my Lunch and Learn doing this session. I bombed back to Toronto because I had to see Bianca in the U.S. Open Finals. And my daughter, who lives in Toronto, she doesn't have cable yet because she just moved back. So we had to go find a pub. Oh, man, it's packed with all these cheering fans. We're all ready. What's the score? Oh, Bianca's up 4-2. Okay. So we had no seats. And then I see this couple, and they've got a whole banquet booth with just 2 people in it. And I said, hey, can we just put ourselves here? And they said, sure, just slide in. And my daughter doesn't like to slide in. Sorry, my daughter, if you ever watch this online. She doesn't like to slide in. So she said, I'm going to go stand at the back, Mom. I don't want to slide in with strangers. And I said, no one's a stranger. We're at home everywhere because we've got oneness, right? We know we're connected. So I slide in beside these people to watch the game. And, oh, do you guys play tennis? Oh, yeah. Like, oh, tell me what's happening, blah, blah. I missed the first part. And we're talking. And as we're talking, I said, are you from Toronto originally? And, oh, no, we're from Calgary. I'm on College Street, right? I popped into this bar. I found this table. I'm from Calgary. Where do you live in Calgary? Well, in a neighborhood called Scarborough. No way. That's where I had my house in Scarborough. What street did you live on? Well, I was at 429 Superior. I was at 308 Superior. Did you go? Wow, I said, how old are you? She said, I just turned 30. Did you go to Scarborough School? I went to the play school. Oh, my God, do you know my daughter? Hey, I'm over here. Did you know? And she comes over because the game's tidying up, and she comes over, and I said, she went to Scarborough Play School, the 3- and 4-year-old play school. And my daughter starts rattling off, saying, oh, yeah, I know them and them and them. Oneness, right? And here's the thing in closing. I'm a person who looks for oneness. I look for the connections. I ask questions. I want to know how we're related. Well, how are we related somehow? I met Chris today. He's videoing. What's our relation? I've never met Chris before. What's our relationship? Well, I found out he's a very popular videographer. My son hires videographers to work in this organization. He's in Calgary, but he's got a center here in Toronto. I'm going to hook them up and see if my son can help Chris get even a bigger presence in Toronto. I ask questions. I see the world as we're all. I knew when I sat down with that couple, I didn't realize they lived on my street, but that was like too good to be true. That was almost like in time for the session today. I'm going to close up now because that's enough talking about me. This model really helps. I really hope you stay. We're only going to do an hour. I think it'll change your life. You're going to see things. You're going to start raising your energy, because the whole point of it is, how can I elevate each of my 5 dimensions so that I can keep living more and more and bigger? Because your spirit came down here to have a life. God wants you to have the fullest life possible. And I know who this is coming in the door. This woman, is she there? Yes. Is that Marilyn? Is that Marilyn? It's Marilyn. Do you see? I was just talking. I met Marilyn in Vancouver because she lives in Vancouver, and I was speaking at the Unity. Marilyn was I forgot my coat at this church, and so then Marilyn said, well, I'm going to Peterborough this summer. I'll go get your coat from Vancouver, and I'm going to Peterborough next week. And she said, well, I'll come to Hamilton and bring you your coat. It's the traveling coat. And here's Marilyn. We're all connected. Everybody's your friend. And everywhere I go, I say, I wonder how many friends I'm going to make today. That's oneness. I hope you stay afterward for our workshop. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't she amazing? And I bet many of you are curious to know what your dominant one is, and remember that it's all about oneness. Mm-hmm. So let's see what's going on next.
Anybody that wants to take the class on Wednesday night, there's a sign-up sheet that's over there, and please leave me your email, because I'm going to have to send you some material prior to the class. Okay? So it's the Beyond Limits class. The sign-up sheet is over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Okay. Now, we believe in giving is a spiritual practice. If you are here for the first time, know your presence is a gift to us, and there is no need for anything else. And, by the way, we are now moving into the 21st century as electronically. You are welcome to be able to give your tithing or pay for classes or workshops directly in an electronic way called the Square. And we have Michael here who would be able to assist you with that perhaps after the service, if that is the option that you choose. Now, please take your conscious giving envelopes. Let me get mine. In your hand, and affirm the following with me, if that's comfortable. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all I have, all I give, and all that I receive.
see God shining through in all you do. When you look at me, do you see the best of you is the best of me? One heart, one mind, one voice shining as the light, one soul, the essence of being, one God, Spirit divine. When I look within, I see God molding me, loving me. Everything I say, everything I do, deepens my connection with you. One heart, one mind, one voice shining as the light, one soul, the essence of being, one God, Spirit divine. One heart, one mind, one voice shining as the light, one soul, the essence of being, one God, Spirit divine.
And please join me in saying, given in love, received in love, this offering goes forth to do its perfect work. All my desires and needs are met by Spirit through me, and so it is. Is there anyone here for the first time? Thank you. We have a gift for you. An ambassador will be able to give you something shortly. Okay. And if you have any prayer requests, we have a prayer box at the back of the room at the entry here that you may write down any request you have. The request forms can be on any piece of paper, but there are at the back of the seats, along with the empty envelopes, are request forms there too that you may use. And our closing prayer treatment.
So join with me in consciousness if that's comfortable. As I breathe and relax into this oneness, knowing that I have heard some things that are bubbling up in me in a very creative way, open to being more and more with every breath I take. I know Spirit is at the helm, guiding, loving, supporting. Life presents itself as benevolence, as love. And everywhere I look, I see an opportunity to be love and to share love. And so from this beautiful open place, I let go and I let it be so, because I know it's already done in Spirit. Please join with me in affirming, and so it is.
Shall we stand and grab a hold of someone's hand, give them a little squeeze? I choose love. And let's make a conscious effort to choose love every single moment we possibly can. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family sharing one sun, one tie that binds us that can't be undone. One choice unites us, let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family sharing one sun, one tie that binds us that can't be undone. One choice unites us, let this be the one. I choose love. Say it with vigor. I choose love. One more time. I choose love. And all the people say, amen.
Now, we do have lunch available if anyone wants to have lunch.